Hi everyone, Matt Watson here. Now, did you know that the Tesla Model 3 now outsells the BMW 3 Series? It's crazy really when you think about it. However, BMW is not going to take this lying down. It's going to try and beat Tesla at its own game with its own version of the Model 3. It's going to be called the i4, and here's the Car Wow top 10 things you need to know about it. I should point out that the car you see here is actually a concept car that BMW planned to show at this year's Geneva Motor Show, which was cancelled. The show, not the car. However, this gives a clear indication of what the road version will look like. And the first thing to talk about is the grille. Let's be honest, it's pretty shocking. Also, it's totally unnecessary. While IC cars need grilles to let air in to cool their engines, electric cars don't have engines, so they don't need grills. It's like, duh. To be fair, BMW's so-called kidney grills are a classic design cue for the brand. It's used them on all its cars since almost forever, so you can kind of see why it wanted to have them on this electric car, even though they do pretty much nothing. Anyway, apart from the dodgy face, the i4 actually looks alright. It gets plenty of blue bits, because we all know that's the colour of electricity, right? They're on the doors, in the headlights, and on the badge. The rest of the i4's body isn't actually all that exciting. Now granted, it's all nice and sleek, but if you squint, it just looks like a 4 Series Grand Coupe that's fallen into a bucket of gold paint, especially from the side. The brake lights are cool though. In fact, they look like they've been pinched from an 8 Series. And best of all, there aren't any fake exhaust pipes, because there's no engine. Obvs. Looks like they haven't totally lost the plot over at BMW's design department then, thank God. I really like the BMW i4 concept's interior. It reminds me a lot of my old i3, which I used to run in a previous job.
I'm too sexy for my shirt.
It's a bit like a modern sequel to an old sci-fi movie then. If the BMW 8 Series concept is anything to go by, then the i4's interior should not change too much when it finally goes into production. This super simple dashboard could well reach production, and you'll probably be able to get your i4 with similar white leather and an equally massive panoramic glass roof. The touch-sensitive buttons to engage drive and reverse look good as well, but I still prefer the crystal gear knob you get in an 8 Series. BMW hasn't said anything yet about passenger space or boot space, but the car should be able to carry you and 3 climate change activists without too much problem. More is always better, right? Well, not according to BMW. You see, the i4 comes with one big electric motor instead of a couple of small ones like you get in a Tesla Model S or a Model 3 Performance. And the motor isn't under the bonnet like in pretty much every other BMW since the M1. Instead, it's actually behind the rear seats. So you could say this car is sort of like an electric 911. Oh yeah. Don't go thinking it'll be slow just because it comes with a single motor though. It pumps out a whopping 530 horsepower, so it's more powerful than the turbocharged straight 6 in the M2, M3 and M4. Anyway, it does all this without using any rare earth metals, so it's more environmentally friendly than other electric cars. So Greta, you take note, right? Most electric cars are pretty quick off the line.
Launch.
So you won't be surprised to hear the i4 concept will do 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds. Yes, I know Tesla fanboys, that's a little bit slower than a Tesla Model 3 Performance, but it's still fast enough to scare your mother. Part of the reason is that the i4 is rear drive only, so like the Lary M2, rather than being all-wheel drive like the more sensible M8. And we all know, don't we, that less traction actually equals more fun. Despite that though, the car should still be able to sprint from 0 to 60 miles an hour quicker than the M4. And because the car sends all its power to the rear wheels, it should be capable of some silent but smoky electric drifting. Oh yeah. I should point out that the i4 is nowhere near as quick as a Porsche Taycan. You see, it'll top out at 124 miles an hour. But that's gonna be fine for most people, isn't it? Unless of course, you're from Germany and you want to go driving on the Autobahn, yeah? Well, bad luck. Anyway, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of the Porsche Taycan, click up there on the pop-out banner. In case you didn't know this already, batteries are heavy, and to see what I mean, just get your TV remote, remove the batteries, now feel how light it is. So BMW has put the iForce batteries on a diet to help keep the weight down so it doesn't feel like a Panzer to drive. Well, they've tried to keep the weight down anyway. The battery pack still weighs more than half a ton. In fact, it's 10 kilograms heavier than the battery pack in a Tesla Model S. Now you probably think that all this weight would mean that the iForce battery pack can hold enough electricity to power a city for a week. But no, it can't. Actually, it has an 80 kilowatt hour battery, and by contrast, a Tesla Model S has a 100 kilowatt hour battery, so 25% more electricity capacity. Don't start doing the maths, my maths is right, you know about percentages, trust me. So the iForce batteries aren't exactly light or particularly powerful. There is one upside though. They are thin. Thin enough to fit under the floor of this slinky four-door coupe. Aerodynamics are key if you want to make a car slip through the air as easily as possible to A, increase the top speed, or B, eke out as much range from your battery pack as possible. So the BMW i4 comes with a few tricks to help make it as slippery as possible. The alloy wheels use big flat spokes so they don't produce the kind of turbulence you get from a set of 20-inch desk fans. No, that's no good! The door handles are flush to the body, unlike the massive sticky out ones you get on the 3 Series. While at the back, there's a huge rear diffuser. And not just a fake one like you get on a Civic Type R, it's a real one like on a McLaren 720S. It actually does aid airflow. Tasty. BMW has definitely missed a trick though. The i4 could have done with those really sleek side mirrors like you get on the Honda E and the Audi e-tron. They just look cooler and obviously reduce drag. Why don't you do it, BMW? Why not? BMW says the new i4 should be able to do 372 miles between charges. Now I know what you're all thinking. It's like, Matt, electric cars never go as far as the makers claim. Though to be fair, this new i4 was tested under new stricter testing rules. However, if you want to see how far some production electric cars that are on sale now that you can actually buy can go on a full charge, click on the pop-out banner up there, see my video where I took 6 of them and drove them at the motorway until they ran out of charge and conked out. Anyway, the i4 should be able to get pretty close to its claimed 372 miles in day-to-day driving, which is only 8 miles shy of what you get from a Tesla Model S long range. The only problem is that unlike with the Tesla Model S, you will not have access to Tesla's extensive supercharging network. And the superchargers as well are super fast, so it'll probably take a bit longer to charge up the i4 at the kind of charging points you can find at a motorway service station. Though, of course, that'll just give you a bit longer to choose what kind of coffee you want.
I don't know what you want.
The i4 gets a completely redesigned version of BMW's iDrive with a totally new layout. Wait a minute. I've definitely seen something like this before. It reminds me of the screens in a Mercedes EQC. It looks like someone's been copying Mercedes' homework. Still, unlike the EQC, you get a rotary controller on the centre console with a cool crystal finish. So it looks nice and should be pretty easy to use while you're driving. There are a few extra touch-sensitive buttons on the steering wheel, but you can bet you'll be able to control most of the car's functions by using BMW's excellent voice-activated personal assistant, which is actually a lot better than some other systems I could mention. Hello, Volkswagen.
What can I do for you?
I've got a cold bum.
Dialed numbers. Please connect a phone via Bluetooth first.
Lots of cars come with some extra sound effects to boost the noise they make. BMW does this for its diesel cars in particular, so they sound like petrols inside the cabin. However, the effects are always just a little bit rubbish. Sometimes they're crappy fake engine noises. And other times they're just a bit pointless. But BMW is trying really hard to buck this trend with the i4 because they've hired Hans Zimmer to compose the i4's sound effects. Now, if you don't know who Hans Zimmer is, he's the guy that did the soundtrack for the film Inception. Here's a little reminder for you. Now, don't go thinking this is going to mean you get Leonardo DiCaprio's voice for the sat-nav. It's more along the lines of some kind of like cool chime for the seatbelt warning or a bassy thrum when you put the car into sports mode. Something a bit like this. Like I said at the beginning of this video, BMW is targeting the i4 as a rival to the Tesla Model 3. So let's compare them like for like. Let's look at the range first. So the BMW has the upper hand here because the i4 can manage 372 miles on a single charge compared to the Tesla Model 3's 322 miles. But when you look at performance, the Tesla Model 3 takes the lead as the performance model can do 0 to 60 in just 3.2 seconds, so 0.8 of a second quicker than the i4 can. I reckon at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to price. Now BMW hasn't announced how much the i4 will cost when it goes on sale next year, but it will only come with one motor and one battery pack combination, so less choice than the Tesla. This means there probably won't be a cheaper entry-level version like you get with the Tesla Model 3, which you can have for less than £44,000. Now, if you'd like to check out the latest leasing deals on the Tesla Model 3, click on the pop-out banner up there. You can watch my review of it, then follow the link through to see how much you can save on one of those cars. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Please subscribe to this channel for more videos, and if you click on the deals box to the right, you can see how much you can save on a new car at CarWow. Or click on the video windows below to watch another of my videos.